OnlyFans creator. Are we allowed to talk about
what the actual Hey, alright guys, welcome to another episode of Drive and Vibe podcast, and today we have we have a lot. We go way back.
We go way back.
My friend Kathy here. And Kathy can introduce herself a little bit.
Hi everyone, I am Kathy. How do I say this? I guess I'm a content creator, you could say that. We went to the same university together. We went to USC together, so it's been years. And then we recently connected again, and then we decided to do a podcast together.
Yeah, that will be. I'm excited. It's been so long, since the last time we really hang around. But let's go back and talk about how we met in college. So
are we allowed to talk about this?
I think they don't exist anymore, so.
Oh really? Oh, that's good. Oh well, not good, but like at least we can talk about it now. So
yeah, but yeah, so we met at USC Sigma Phi Omega. I think it was like the oldest Asian sorority in SoCal. And technically we were the same year, like both 2017, except I was 2018 spring admit. And then I think you guys have the spring rush, and then there was nothing going on at the moment. I got flyered down, and then I guess that's how.
Yeah, I trapped you into the sorority.
I know.
For those of you who don't know, I guess Asian Greek is kind of like what you would assume like a normal sorority life, but heavy focused on like Asian culture, and a lot of Asian people join. It's like a little community. There's a lot of parties, there's a lot of raves, and the pledging process is interesting too.
A lot of parties.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about like your pledging experience. Is there any like fun or memorable moment?
I feel like I'm gonna get hate on saying this. But I'm still gonna speak my truth from where I stand now. I don't believe in the pledging process anymore. I don't really support how they were pledging kids back then. In the name of sisterhood, we went through a lot of things, and I do believe learning afterwards is like a process of trauma bonding. They put you through so much shit, and then you're expected to bond, like kind of get closer with each other, because that's what you do when you go through shit together. And is that really right in my book? Not so much anymore, which is also probably why I very quickly deactivated after a year or so. Don't get me wrong, it was like fun and everything, and when you're fresh off to college, you're kind of like, oh, I don't really know anyone, I want friends, I want groups to go to like things with. But the pledging process itself, I don't believe it was necessary. I
agree. For me as well, I feel like for me, it was more like literally the first semester I get to the state, I don't have any friends in the state or at USC at all. Like I don't have like the classmate that I have in college that got into USC as well. Like they were 2017 fall. It's not like we're not close.
Yeah.
So it was like really hard for me to find like a group of people or like where I belong to. So I guess that's like why I was like, okay, even though I was like, what the actual fuck is going on, I still went through it because I was like, okay, this is like the only group of friends I had at the time.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, because I feel like we're also similar in backgrounds, in the sense we're both from China. And to me, I guess I was taking it more sort of like, or like maybe I was lying to myself back then. I was like, maybe this is American culture, maybe this is just something I have to accept. Like I just genuinely feel like I didn't know better, and I wanted friends, so that's why I did what I did, which I guess it was a great experience overall. But would I do it again? Definitely not. Unfortunate I feel like I still appreciate the people that I've met through the organization for sure, but yeah, that's all I have to say about the sorority, and I won't go into too much detail about pledging because
yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's in the past. It's in the past. It's okay. So do you think attending USC and being in a sorority, did it shape your view now, or did it shape your experience as like, you know, you came here when you were 14?
Yeah, 15.
Yeah,
15.
when you were 15. So you went to high school here as well. Did you think that shaped your overall experience up until now?
I do believe every part of my life has made me who I am today. I don't feel like I hold the same values as I did before, but it definitely showed me what values I don't want to have. It was very clear to me that I was utilizing drugs, partying, raves to get away from reality, and it showed me that there is the easy way out if you want to just, you know, like go out there, have fun, do all of those things. Like it's there instead of going to therapy, reflecting about yourself or evaluating your life, you know?
Yeah.
It showed me that I don't want those things because I had it and I realized that that's not for me.
Well, I guess then it is a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Like it helped you realize that you know, I feel like, yeah, me too. I was like, oh my god, this is like freedom. What freedom feels like, and it kind of like got loose for a little bit. But then I was like, nope, I need to face my inner demons and work through it.
And I feel like we've grown so much from then. I do believe those good old days where we're going to parties, I'm dragging you out to raves, and we're like going ham, going crazy, but now we're sitting in the car in your podcast and we have our own careers, and looking back it's almost like, oh wow, that was crazy.
I know, right? So do you think, you know, being an art major and be, you know, creative, like did it influence your career choice?
I feel like it definitely did. I mean, right after college, I did like, my positions were like graphic designer, creative director. I did the whole corporate thing, and then obviously I was kind of doing social media and OnlyFans on the side. By the way, just in case I forgot to say it, I am also an OnlyFans creator. I feel like studying art and graphic design has definitely helped me, you know, like make reels, make content, do my own marketing, and then it's also affected the way I see kind of human bodies. Like I'm not necessarily about like, oh, this is like an object of sex or whatever. It's just kind of like art. It's the human body. You can appreciate it from another angle. So I'm not so much like, as much as I come from like the Chinese traditional background, it's almost taboo to like, I guess, put your body online this way, but to me it's not so much like that.
I know, I mean, the cultural difference on this is like, it's insane. I mean, even just like getting tattoos is still very much, it's not widely accepted back home. Like I don't know how I'm gonna go back now that I have like half of a sleeve. I really just like, I don't know how I'm gonna go back. Like my dad doesn't know, my mom, only my mom knows. So
you know what's funny, I feel like, I don't know if that makes me a horrible kid. I've forced my mom into accepting me for who I am. I think my mom was definitely not supportive of me, whether it's me choosing art as a major, me getting tattoos, or choosing social media as a career, or even doing OnlyFans. Like, but I think eventually, as she realized, like, oh, I should care more about what makes her happy instead of like, oh, like she should have been a lawyer, she should have been a doctor, or all of these expectations, it brought us so much closer. And now I'm actually able to talk to her about like, oh, like what content I'm shooting, or how does a day in my work life look like. It brought us closer, but also, you know, she went to therapy, so
that's good that your mom is open to therapy. Like, I feel like my parents, they are like the typical Asian parent that have the expectation of like, okay, you're gonna they want me to be an overachiever. That I feel like I was shaped to be an overachiever growing up. They were always like, okay, after 5 years of architecture school, you're gonna go to law school. And then they wanted me to like become a lawyer and I don't know, start my own career after being in the legal field for 5 years. They have my whole career like laid out, but you know, I'm a rebel, so I was just like,
same.
No.
I definitely feel you on that. I don't recommend the way I did it to anybody else. I think the way I did it was I really distanced myself from her for a long time. Since I came to the States alone, I had the option to, you know, I think I was very harsh back then, and I don't love what I did, but I did it to protect my own peace because my family was very negative towards anything that I did. They're like, oh, you're gonna fail as an artist, you're gonna like, you're not gonna make it, you're gonna like, all of these negativities, right? So I kind of blocked it off by not calling them as much or not like talking to them as much. And I think they quickly realized that if they want to be close to me, they have to accept who I am. Again, I think not the best move. I did what I had to do.
I mean, it's, look at where you're at now. Like, as long as you know, I feel like every family have like their own rough spot to go through. Like, not every family is like la-di-da-di-da, like the happiest. I feel like especially with Asians, like you always see people on the internet joke about like, oh, we have generational trauma and stuff. Like, sometimes I'm like, okay, it might be real. So so how since you moved here 14, 15 all alone, how, like, you know, navigate learning English and then while trying to fit into a new culture?
I guess I kind of knew a little bit of English before coming here, but definitely not a lot. And I spent my first year in Maine, where there's like no other Asian kid at the school. It's definitely a blessing at the same time, because as hard as it was not having someone to connect to, it really made me practice English. I feel like if I landed in California first, there would be so many like other Asian kids or like Chinese kids around me that I would be speaking Chinese to them. But because I didn't have the opportunity to, I just had to learn it.
That sounds like you know how like those parents, when they teach their kid how to swim, they just like dump them into the pool.
Yeah, I definitely felt a little bit like, you know what, you don't know how to swim, I'm gonna drop you right here in the pool and you're gonna swim or you're gonna die. So
were you like were you happy to move here? Is that your choice? Like, did you get to, you know, get a saying and like, okay, we're gonna...
It was 100% my choice. I was a horrible teenager. I threatened my family. I was like, I have to go. I guess speaking of like family stuff, I was never super accepted by my family just because of like the way I was, the way I looked, and all of that good stuff. So it was always very like, I felt suffocated back there, whether it's wanting to pursue art or whether it's wanting to be who I am. So I wanted to run away really desperately. The glorified version of why I came to the States is I wanted to chase like dreams in art, in design, and all of that. But the reality is I think I was trying to run away, and I wanted to be who I am, and the only way to do that was to not be at home.
I mean, I really, like, I can relate on that. Like, for me as well, I feel like just growing up, like, I was, like, never really fitted into the Chinese culture, almost in a way, even though, like, I was born and raised in Beijing, China, but they just, I don't know, like, did you feel like that?
I feel like we are who we are today because we were one of the kids that didn't really fit in.
Right.
Like, we do what we do now, almost connecting on this level because we weren't those kids that just felt really comfortable being where we're at.
So, looking back, what was the most challenging part, like transitioning into a new culture?
Let me think. Oh, that's like so far back, I barely remember. The language barrier was definitely one thing, and I guess the culture too, because May is like pretty white, and not having any type of Asian influence around me was also hard. Yeah, I guess just the generic ones.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, because like coming here, I feel like there's certain spot in LA you go, you can get by without even being able to speak English, but I couldn't imagine what it was like for someone like 14, 15 to go through that. That must be, you know, crazy.
I say it shaped me to who I am today, and it was my choice. I've always been a stubborn kid. If it's something I chose, I definitely like stick it out, even if it means like I have to crawl through it. I think the first year I cried a lot. I didn't have much friends, couldn't really communicate with other people, and my whole family was telling me like, oh, if you can't do it, you can always come back home. Oh my god. But I was so stubborn. I was like, I have to make it out. I have to do this. I have to just push through it. And I did. It wasn't the brightest year for me. I think I definitely had a lot of my mental health issues started around then. And it took years and years of therapy and learning how to cope with things and manage my emotions to get to a better place. But yeah, you learn a lot about yourself when you're dropped into another country just by yourself.
So, are you still like regularly like going to therapy right now?
Not so much these days. I think I stopped my last therapy session about a year and a half ago. She was like, I don't have anything to help you with anymore.
When
like,
you graduated.
She broke up with me. She's like, you graduated. I like, you know what you're doing now. You're better, and there's nothing more I can offer you. Which, it's kind of true. I think I have all the tools I need to regulate my emotions, and I'm able to reflect on things a lot better. And
what are some of like your ways to, you know, regulate your emotions?
I think I became very self-aware. This is gonna sound so funny. When I wasn't regulating my emotions, for example, if someone was late for 5 minutes, instantly, like, my train of thought in my head was like, you don't care about me, you hate me, so I'm gonna have to cut you off and never see you again. And now I think about it, it's kind of crazy why I had that, but it really made sense to me back then. But these days, after I had to retrain all of my thought process to like you kind of just train them to like wire them differently. Okay, they're just late for five minutes. They were probably busy with something. Like, it's not necessarily about you or anything. To me, it's rewiring all the old patterns that I learned in my past to new ones that are more healthy and like makes more sense.
Yeah, 100%. So people, go to therapy. Do not just like, you know, try to do whatever to. The only way is through. You have to face your demon and work through it. I think that is just one crucial takeaway that I learned as well. Like, you can't really hide or run away from things. Like, I feel like for the longest time I was like a more anxious person, and then because like of what I went through, it kind of like turned me into like a more avoidant person. And then when things happen, sometimes like my first thought is to shut off and then literally detach from the whole world. Like I kind of still do that, but it's like a healthy way for me to, I don't know, like work through my emotion. Like I kind of, but it's not like before I won't tell anyone that I would just disappear. Now I'm like, hey, by the way, I really need to work this through myself. I'm just gonna disappear for, I don't know, until midnight or tomorrow morning, but trust me, I'll be fine, type of thing.
Yeah, you just gotta keep your friends and family updated on what you're going through, but take the time you need to work through things, because you deserve all the space to go through things.
Yeah. So let's move on to, I guess, creative process and our career path. How did you go from, you know, being a graphic designer and then twitching and live streaming, and then, you know, decided to go into OnlyFans?
So with my art degree, I definitely was heading towards like graphic design, UX, UI, creative directing, and then I quickly realized I didn't want to work for somebody else. I mean, I was doing social media on the side and I was making some profit, and I realized I'm gonna be stuck in this loop of
9 to
9 to 5 forever for the rest of my life, working for somebody else so that someone else could go on fancy vacations, traveling around the world, living my dream life while I work my ass off in their office. And I decided that wasn't for me.
I know.
And I kind of started doing OnlyFans on the side while I was in corporate, and then once I made more on OnlyFans than my corporate job, I moved on to OnlyFans. And now I get to live my dream life, take care of everyone I love, and travel whenever I want. So that's the benefit of being an OnlyFans creator, where I get to set my own schedules and then achieving my goals and having like the time to take care of myself.
Right. I know, like the 9 to 5 is just like, I mean, for me as well, it's just like not it. For me, I don't think I'm cut out for the 9 to 5. So I feel like with OnlyFans, there are a lot of misconceptions, because I feel like being a content creator, or like for TikTok, or being an influencer, or like even being like a OnlyFans creator, it's still like I see it as like you are your own boss, you're being entrepreneurial as well, because you have to grow your own platform, empire in a way as well. So what are some misconceptions that people have?
We're gonna get so much hate with the word entrepreneur. I already see it coming, but misconceptions, I guess the number one misconception would be that we're lazy. I think people think it's such an easy job because people still see OnlyFans as, oh, you sell your body for a lot of money and you don't really work. That's not necessarily true. I met some of the most intelligent, hardworking women through being in this industry. They are the ones planning out outfits, shooting their content, editing their content, uploading content to all platforms. They're their own stylist, video editor, marketer, and in order to maximize out your profit, you really have to work super hard, and you have to network with other creators too. It's really not as simple as, hey, I woke up pretty, I take a photo and it's fine. It's not like that, and you do go through kind of quite a bit mentally, because think about how you would show up to your 9 to 5. You have to show up every time to like work and do your tasks, right? But with being a creator, you don't get to have bad days where you feel shitty about your body, or you don't get to have days where you feel like, oh, I'm not gonna shoot today because I got a pimple on my face, stuff like that.
Right.
I'm not saying there are creators out there that doesn't do that. I'm just saying personally for me, to achieve my goals, I have to stay consistent. So I don't get to have days where I'm like, oh, I feel lazy today, I'm not gonna shoot. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
I feel like I drifted off into a tangent, but misconceptions that we're skillless. We like have nothing else to contribute, so this is the only option we have left. I think people often view us as, oh, like, you have no other skills, so this is all that you can do. I'm like, no, I can do other stuff. This is just my preferred way of living. Whether you agree with that, that's your opinion, and that's okay, but I choose to live this lifestyle so I can take care of the people I love, travel whenever I want, and, you know, enjoy my life. I only get to live it this once.
Right, like, you don't have to apologize, you know, for how you make a living. Like, you're living like the lifestyle of so many people's dream, right? What is the biggest lesson you learned so far, you know, being your own boss in, you know, creating content?
Biggest lesson, I guess there is a couple. One of them is don't be afraid to look stupid. I think that's very important in, like, everything you do, honestly. I started my account from, like, a phase meme account that I was just, like, doing very basic things, but I quickly realized that that wasn't doing well for my marketing. I had to learn how to dance. I don't dance well, by the way, I don't, but I had to learn dance, I had to learn how to act. Now I'm speaking on camera, which is something I feared the most for a long time. I had to act in skits, and I'm expanding the things that I do. But did I look stupid doing it at one point? Yes. Do I still feel stupid about it? Kind of. But I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't look stupid to a lot of people. I bet some of the people watching my things, they're like, oh my gosh, she looks so awkward, she looks so bad, or whatever it is. But it's through those experiences that I was able to learn and grow better. So it's okay if you look stupid. You're gonna get to where you are doing that, then fuck it, why not?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like with me as well, like, when I first started posting, I feel so nervous with, like, filming. I was like, before, it was just like I wouldn't talk in front of the camera because I'm
oh my god, I was there. Yeah,
I was so self-conscious with, like, how I speak, and I wanted to make sure that people can hear me clearly, and I am pronouncing the word correct, or, like, I was scared that people would, you know, make fun of my accent and stuff. But it just really, like, I was just kind of like, fuck it, like, let's go all in. And yeah, you just kind of have to, like,
yeah. And it does get easier. Like, these things that are really uncomfortable for you, they do get easier. I was uncomfortable filming, like, dance videos, but now I film them every week. I was uncomfortable speaking in front of the camera. Now I still cringe at it, but it's much better compared to before.
I know. There's, like, sometimes I remember there's one video I was like, oh, if you want to be fast like me, you better be wearing my protector pendant. I was still, and I revved the engine. I was like, oh my god, it cringes me out so bad, but, like, hey, that video performed.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like people on the internet, they would judge you for that. They're like, cringe, but
that's what drives engagement.
Literally.
That's what drives traffic. Oh my god, once upon a time I had to make like a cross-eyed face sticking my tongue out. That video did so well. I died inside. Which is, yeah, I died inside, which, but, you know, I did what I had to do for content. It was, I guess, most people liked it.
I know. I feel like when I see that as, like, a job, it does make it a little easier. I'm like, okay, like, for me, I'm like, okay, I'm, like, doing it for the job. Like, it's not, like, my personal platform anymore. It's a platform that I use to share what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think you're able to differentiate that a little more because your brand is focused on, like, the jewelry, the cars. I personally struggled for a very long time because my brand is me.
Right.
I am the brand. I am what I'm marketing, which then it gives me kind of this distance between who I am and what I'm presenting to other people. I struggled because I felt unseen and misunderstood for a very long time. Like, people just viewed me as a piece of pretty object, which is what I did for the marketing, which it worked, but no one really heard me talk. No one really cared about what's underneath all of like the cute dances and stuff, which is why I'm very, very like grateful to have the opportunity to be here, because this is like probably the first time on camera I'm actually sharing like my thoughts, who I am. It's okay if you don't care, by the way. But yeah,
I mean, it's a tough world on the internet for sure. You just have to really either have a really tough skin, or you just, you know, like,
oh my god, it definitely changes you. I feel like when I first started, if someone commented on like, oh my god, like you don't have an ass, or you like something about my appearance, or anything like that, I cried for a long time. That was like 3-4 years ago. And then these days I don't care anymore. These days, for the 2-3 years I've been a creator, I've gotten attacked on my body, my family, my like personality, the way I speak, the way I act, just everything you could ever think of, I've already gotten attacked on. And I'm just kind of like,
I know.
Thanks for the engagement, I guess.
People on the internet, they can be mean even when you're not really doing anything wrong, I feel like.
That's how you feel though. I do understand where a lot of people come from when it comes to what I do. I'm okay with the hate. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to have your opinion. Right. I just won't let it affect me. And 100%. It is what I do. It comes with the category. To be an OnlyFans creator, you have to embrace the stereotypes, people's judgment, the critical ones especially. But I still wouldn't trade it for anything, because I enjoy what I do and what it brings me.
That's good. You know, like, I am still learning to, I guess, be okay with the type of comment that I'm receiving, because this is like what I really started, I guess, like beginning of the year, like February, March-ish. That's when I started
a long way.
Like creating content. So it's like, it's still like I'm working on getting through like all of the comment and then the world judging me.
You know what's really helpful also? It's to have people who support you. Like, keep the people who are close to you, the ones that really, really support you in what you do. That helped me a lot. I think when I first started, I had friends who are like from college, or mostly from college, I guess, and they were kind of in 9 to 5. They didn't really understand what I do, but because those were my friends, I struggled for a long time, because I'm like, they don't understand me, they don't understand what I do, but these are my friends, what do I do?
Right.
But later on I realized it's okay to grow in separate ways with people.
Right.
And it definitely took me some time, because I had to, you know, grieve on the friendships that I've lost a little bit. But now I'm surrounded with more people who are working on their self-growth, who are like-minded, who are open to new things, who are lifting me up in my life journey. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. They support me in what I do, and I support them in what they do. I think you feel so seen and understood in that point, that it's really important to only surround yourself with people who truly love you and support you.
100%. So where are you currently finding the creative inspiration?
Creative inspiration? I feel so cheesy talking about this, because I feel like I'm an artist deep down, and that creative process is very different to me than what I'm creating these days, right? I think art is more so a personal thing that requires a very deep, thoughtful, creative process. These days, when I push out my... Do I need to pause?
Oh, it's okay, we still have this one running.
These days, when I create content, I try to make sure that, you know, the fit's ready, my fit's ready, the makeup's ready, and trendy dances, trendy audios, and anything that my like fans suggest to me would work too. It's not necessarily like a lot of research, but you definitely have to kind of look at successful examples. Like I recently discovered, as much as I hate it, people love public things. Like if I move my dances from in the room to like out on the streets, it would get a lot more views. Or if I like do something when I'm traveling instead of like being in LA, that kind of helps too. In a sense, it kind of pushes you out of your comfort zone too. People just like to see you do things that they cannot do or isn't willing to do. The cringier it is, or like the more uncomfortable you are, it almost does better.
True. That is very true. Well, I gotta start to think what I can
do. Yeah, I think the most I've done recently was I did a dance video at Shibuya Crossing in Japan, where like there's thousands of people crossing the road. I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I'm not someone who's an internet personality, if you can't tell yet. I'm actually pretty, like, I like to keep to myself. So I had to dance there, and my whole body was shaking. And like, when I was trying to dance, my mind almost went blank. I was like, fuck, I practiced this like thousands of times. How could I not remember? And then I eventually got the tempo wrong too. And then I still had to post it, but I did well. So
I mean, that's all that matters. One thing that I'm always being told is like, stop worrying like about making something perfect. Like just go for it. You can perfect it along the journey, but if you keep on worrying about what if it's not perfect and then keep on working on it, you never post it. You're never like actually making that first step.
That is so true. I think I'm a very critical person to myself and my work too. Honestly, to be able to push out content every single day, I'm not satisfied with 70% of the content I'm actually pushing out. To my standards, probably only 30% of them are okay to me. But I still did it because consistency is important.
Yeah. Posting every day, it's not easy. It is definitely not easy.
It's not in like so many levels, especially because I think we both do the shooting, the editing, the scripting, the everything. So we do it all, and then there's so many platforms, and
it is so much work. It is so much to like juggle. You just have so much on your hand. It does get overwhelming sometimes, but I mean, hopefully, you know, as we get more and more efficient and have better understanding, like moving forward, I can, you know, have more helps in the future, and then I don't have to like, you know, drown myself in work.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think the important thing about scaling up is to hire more qualified people to do certain parts of your job so you can better focus on other stuff. But I kind of have issues with that, just because I kind of have trust issues when it comes to other people doing my job. Also, I like my face a certain way. I like my angles a certain way. I feel like it's so much to teach another person to figure out which clips to use, or how to like film it, how to like edit it. Yeah,
me too. I mean, I'm really grateful now that I have an editor to help with like the podcast and stuff, but I still have to like we have to be on the same page with how like editing works. But still, I'm still grateful that I can get the help that I get, but we'll get there. So I guess now that we're moving to the last part of the interview, so looking back on your journey so far, what advice would you give to your 15-year-old self?
This one's a cheesy one. I really want to tell her it's gonna be okay. It's very simple. It's gonna be okay. I think for me, no one told me that it was gonna be okay. I was away from family, away from friends, away from everything that I've ever known, and struggling alone in like whether it's the cultural barrier, the language barrier, eating disorders, mental health issues. I struggled alone, and most days it felt like I didn't know like why I was waking up or how I was waking up. So I want to tell her it's gonna be okay. You're working hard, and it may seem like there's no light at the end of the tunnel right now, but there is, and you're gonna make it one day. So you just have to take a deep breath and feel like it's okay.
And then I guess last two questions. So how has your understanding of success evolved since college, and what does success looks like for you right now?
I feel like for the longest time, I didn't know what successful meant. I just kept chasing goals, one after another, to feel enough, and I never felt successful because every time I finished chasing one goal, I lined up the next one. And I did all of that to feel enough about myself. If I kept on achieving things, then I would feel better about myself. It wasn't until I looked inside like, oh, this time I've accomplished all of my goals, but why do I not feel successful? I had to find a more grounded way of looking at it instead of focusing on like my value and my success on all the outside stuff. But these days, I guess to be successful, I still don't think I am where I want to be at yet. I want to be able to, this is gonna sound big, but they say dream big, right? So I want to be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. So that means if I want to go on vacation tomorrow, I will be able to without a single worry. No, I don't have to worry about work. I don't have to worry about like what consequences it may cause. I hope to get to a place in life in which me and the people that are around me, the people I love, can all do that together. We're not worried about materialistic things. We're just only concerned about enjoying life. I would define that as successful. What about you?
Same. That is literally my goal as well. Like, you know, literally word for word. Like, I want to be, you know, just being able to do whatever, whenever, however I want. Like, I don't have to be bounded by the monetary value of things that I want to do or things I want to get, and they just like have the complete freedom in life. I think it would, it's like that, like have the complete freedom. Like, I don't know, like if I wanted to fuck off tomorrow on a island and then disappear for a whole month, like I don't have to worry about it. Stuff like that. I mean,
that'd be nice, huh?
Shoot for the moon and then you'll be able to get there. Well, I guess that kind of covers like the last question as well. So I think I'm gonna start a tradition for this podcast.
Okay.
You can ask a question to the next person who's gonna come.
Oh. Huh.
I think I saw this on some other podcast. I think like it would be a great way as well.
The next question for someone who's sitting here with you. I want them to give me one major life event, or it doesn't have to be major, just one life event that has shaped them to who they are right now. I think we all have that one canon event that happened to us that we just changed, or something inside us just flipped and we grew from that, and I want to know what that is.
That's a good question. Well, I think that, you know, wraps up our interview today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And also make sure you go follow Kathy. She's a great creator. We're all creator in this world. And We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.